like, I don't worry about the U.S. Constitution. Now, if that's not enough to make you sick, I don't know what is. So today, I want to talk a little bit about what the Patriot Uprising, the Tea Party movement, has enabled your Missouri state legislators to do. I talked about the Freedom of Healthcare Act. The Freedom of Healthcare Act would result in you and I being able to amend our Missouri state constitution so that the state of Missouri would forever inscribe in our state constitution that we are not going to participate in any mandates from the federal government of them telling us that we have to buy health insurance, etc., etc., etc. Now that all sounds real nice. It sounds real nice, but getting it passed is a whole different story. You know what I'm saying? Right. 2 years ago, if we would have brought up that type of legislation, we would have been laughed right out of the Capitol because everybody would have said, no, there's no way that we can do that. But this year, because of your participation, because of what you are doing, because you have assembled yourselves over and over and over, because you are driving. I noticed some people here from different parts of the state, people that have probably driven 100 or more miles to be involved in this, because the people of the state of Missouri are rising up and putting the politicians on notice. Suddenly, the politicians want to pretend that they're listening to you. Well, you know what? Even if they're just pretending, as long as it causes them to pass good legislation, that's a good thing, right? So now, we've got the Freedom of Healthcare Act, has made it all the way through the House. It's had final passage in the House of Representatives. It's been heard and voted out of committee in the Missouri Senate. It's passed through the Rules Committee of the Missouri Senate and has begun its debate on the Missouri Senate floor. Now, as you might guess, there are some Democrats in the Missouri Senate that are filibustering this good common sense piece of legislation. Are you all surprised to hear that? Let's all do this together. Go like this. When I say that there are Democrats in the Missouri Senate that are filibustering the Health Freedom Act, I want you to go with me, okay? There are Democrats in the Missouri Senate that are filibustering the Freedom of Healthcare Act. Wow. I'm shocked. Now, you've got Dr. Dan Brown right here, don't you? And he's trying to become a member of the Missouri State Senate. Now, some of you might say, well, now, wait a minute. I've heard that guy he's running against is kind of conservative. Why don't we ask that guy that he's running against if he will personally get involved in breaking the Senate filibuster that is holding back the Freedom of Healthcare Act in the Missouri Senate? Yeah. You want to ask him that? Yeah. You want to get on the phone and call him in his office? Because let me tell you what the politician answer is. The politician answer is, well, if it comes to a vote, I'll probably vote for it. No, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. We want to know from our elected state senators whether or not they will stand up and do what's right and help break the filibuster. That's the question. Yeah. Now, when you have Dan Brown representing you in the Missouri Senate, I don't think you're going to have to worry about whether or not Dr. Dan Brown will get in there and get in the middle of the fight and break those kind of filibusters. It ain't good enough, no more, for politicians to give politician answers. Politicians, let me tell you something, Tea Party people. Politicians think that you are stupid. They think that you're not smart enough to figure out the difference of a politician answer and a real answer. We're not asking these senators whether or not they'll ultimately vote for the bill if it comes up for a vote. You realize how protected of an answer that is? That is a mealy-mouthed, mamsy-pamsy answer. Because what they're counting on is they're counting on the liberals that are filibustering it to be successful in their filibustering attempt, and they'll never have to go on record as to whether or not they voted for it. Because they think you're too stupid to figure that out. Well, guess what? I don't think you are. I know you're not. Now is the time, folks. We've had our get-togethers. These get-togethers are so important. These get-togethers keep our ranks on the lips of the media and the politicians, etc. It is important that we gather like this. It's very important. But let me tell you something. If all we ever do is gather under pavilions on beautiful Saturday afternoon and wave our flags, the "Don't Tread on Me" flag is my favorite when I come to these things. But if that's all we ever do, we're not going to affect what needs to be affected. We need to be engaged like we've never been engaged before. Now is the time to redouble our efforts. Now is the time to put those politicians on the spot and make them give